Hi, hello, and welcome to Knit in the City. I am Rebecca, and the city is aspirational. Today, I am back with a pattern roundup, a very special pattern roundup, because this is my spring knitting inspo video. I used to call this my spring knitting plans, but these videos have a tendency to grow and include a lot of patterns that it will not be possible for me to knit before spring is over, or maybe even for the whole year. I don't know. So this pattern inspo will be like my other seasonal knitting run-throughs. I will talk about what inspires me for the season, the colors, the garments, the accessories, whatever I feel drawn to. And then I will just go through all of the patterns that I have picked. And those patterns and a few additional ones will be linked in a Ravelry bundle in the description box. When I talk about gauge, it is given over 10 centimeters or 4 inches, unless I say otherwise. And I don't think I'm going to say otherwise in this episode. So this year the sun has me longing for pastels, like airy blues, lavender, the lightest lemon yellow, baby pink, and minty greens is what I feel really drawn to. And for my neutrals, I'm inclined to pick very light grays or soft whites. And since I started the year with the intention of knitting myself a capsule wardrobe, and figuring out which garments look good on me and what my closet is lacking, I will focus on pieces that I either do not have or that will give new life to what is already in my closet. And this spring I feel drawn to lacy garments that breathe, cardigans or short or no-sleeved garments like t-shirts and vests. I'm also looking to add some skirts to my wardrobe. I would really like to knit myself an A-line skirt, whether that is a longer one that ends on my calf or if it's a shorter one that ends just above the knee. I haven't decided yet. Lastly, I will look at shawl patterns because I think shawls are the perfect accessory for spring weather, at least in my part of the world, where the weather is known to quickly shift from cool to warm. And obviously the other way around as well. Okay, that's enough of introduction. Here are the patterns. I will start talking about cardigans because I think the cardigan is the perfect layering piece. It can be easily removed or just worn open. The first one is the Antonia, and this cardigan is a free pattern from Hobie, and it is a collaboration with Pom Pom. This is a cropped, quite oversized cardigan, and it has 3/4 sleeves, which I generally am not a fan of, but maybe this could work for spring, or I could just add some length to the sleeves. This also features a beautiful lace pattern for extra air down the sides and back of the cardigan. This is a drop shoulder construction. It has I-cord button bands and edgings. The cardigan comes in 10 sizes, 1 to 10, and it has a recommended positive ease of 10 to 15 centimeters or 4 to 5 inches. It's knit in a DK weight yarn. This is a cotton alpaca blend that makes it perfect for spring, on 3.5 and 4 millimeter needles, which is a US 4 and 6. And this is supposed to give you a gauge of 17 stitches. The next cardigan is the Philia cardigan by Irene Lynn, and this is a new favorite of mine. I mean, I have been eyeing her for a while. I'm actually knitting one of her patterns currently, the Kylie pullover, which I think I have it here. I mean, this is not me showing you my knits, but just because we were talking about her. So this is a summer piece, or I mean, this would actually be quite perfect for spring. I am knitting this in Drops Bell, so this is a plant fiber yarn, and this has a this is an all-over lace and cable pattern, and it's quite simple, so you can just memorize this pattern. But yeah, Irene Lynn. This is a cardigan And this is best for when the weather is warming up a bit. This is even more oversized than the previous one. This also has 3/4 sleeves, but they're a bit shorter than the one before. This one is open at the front. It doesn't have any buttons or closings. It has an all-over lace motif, and it would also be suitable for summer wear if you choose to knit it in a plant fiber yarn. It has a drop shoulder construction that is started at the back. It only comes in 3 sizes, 1 to 3, but it does have a lot of positive ease, so it could fit more sizes. The recommended ease is not mentioned, but the bust circumference ranges from 160 to 212 centimeters, which is 63 to 83 inches. So this is very oversized. It is knit in an Aran weight yarn on 6 and 7 millimeter needles. A 6 millimeter is a US 10, and the 7 millimeter does not have a US equivalent. And this is supposed to give you a gauge of 12 stitches. The last cardigan I'm going to talk about is the Hot Choco cardigan by Min Young Han. And this is a cardigan that is more suitable for the colder days of spring. It is a cable cardigan with a mock turtleneck. It has a big cable on the center back and smaller cables on the sides, front panels and sleeves. The rest of the cardigan is knit in a moss stitch, and it has ribbed hems, cuffs and collar. I really like the details, like the cute little braids just above the hem. The cardigan is knit top down, and it has a raglan construction. It comes in 8 sizes, 1 through 8. It is knit in a bulky weight yarn on 5 millimeter needles, or US 8, for a gauge of 15.5 stitches in moss stitch. The next category is lacy garments. I already did introduce a bit of lace in the cardigan section, but I think the breathable quality of lace is perfect for spring, so I made an additional category just for that. The first one is the Champagne Pullover by Sari Nordlund. And this beautiful sweater comes from a Lace Pro. It has an intricate lace pattern that also includes dainty cables. This is a top-down drop shoulder construction that is finished with a tubular bind-off. It has a double folded collar, which gives it a neat look. The sweater comes in 9 sizes, extra small to 5XL, and it has a recommended positive ease of 20 centimeters, which is 8 inches. It's knit with a fingering and a lace held together on 3 and 3.5 millimeter needles, which is a US 2.5 and 4. And this gives you a gauge of 20 stitches. The next lace pattern is the Harvey Wallbanger by Thea Coleman. And this next sweater has a lace pattern that is a bit more dense. And according to my youngest daughter, she's a Gen Z girly, this is at the height of fashion. And this is a different take on the striped sweater with a simple lace pattern and ribbed hem, cuffs and collar. The sweater is knit bottom up in pieces and then seamed. The designer assures us that the seaming is easy and that the pieces are easily lined up. So I guess a person with a fear of seaming could still do it. Like, I totally don't like to seam. This has a drop shoulder construction to really show off the lace. The sweater comes in 8 sizes with a recommended positive ease of 10 to 15 centimeters, or 4 to 6 inches. It's knit in a worsted weight yarn on 4 and 4.5 millimeter needles, which is a US 6 and 7, for a gauge of 18 stitches. Another Irene Lynn pattern, the Haley sweater. This is a lovely airy lace sweater with a few small cables interspersed in the pattern. The sweater has a drop shoulder construction. I realized that there are a lot of drop shoulders in this episode, but I hope you like that. And it has a really pretty shoulder detail. It is knit in a plant fiber yarn, so this would also be suitable for summer wear. It comes in 4 sizes, 1 through 4, with a recommended positive ease of 33 centimeters or 13 inches. So this one is also quite oversized, which I think works pretty well even on me in an open lace pattern. It's knit in a worsted weight yarn on 3.5 and 4 millimeter needles, which is a US 4 and 6, for a gauge of 17 stitches in stockinette. The next category that I have picked is vests. And I think a vest is a great layering piece and also perfect for spring. You can keep your body warm without covering your arms in wool. And I plan to wear mine over long-sleeved dresses or mock-neck long-sleeved t-shirts. And a vest is something I still do not own, so I think this spring will be the one when I knit myself a vest. The first pattern that I have picked out is the Mila hooded vest by Irene Lynn. Sorry for being obsessed. And this chunky vest with its big hood is such a great piece for layering. I love the hood, the pockets, and the big buttons on this one. This is a top-down garment. Front and back are knit separately until the armhole is finished. Then the whole vest is knit in one piece. The top of the hood is seamed together at the end, and that is an acceptable amount of seaming in my book. It comes in 6 sizes, 1 to 6, and it has a recommended positive ease of 19 centimeters or 7.5 inches. It's knit in an Aran weight yarn on 5 and 6 millimeter needles, which is a US 8 and 10, for a recommended gauge, not a recommended for a gauge of 15 stitches. You're supposed to get 15 stitches for your gauge. The next one is the Detroit Slipover by Sara Ottosson. And this is a free pattern from Swedish yarn company Svarta Fåret, which means black sheep. I really like the deep V and the squishy texture of the brioche. And I also really like the buttons on the sides. This vest is a cropped piece that is perfect to wear over a dress. It's knit top down, starting at the shoulders, which are shaped using short rows. The garment comes in 8 sizes, XS to 4XL, and it has a recommended positive ease of 8 centimeters or 3.25 inches. It's knit in a worsted weight yarn on 3.5 and 4 millimeter needles, which is a US 4 and 6. And this gives you a gauge of 18 stitches. The next one, surprise, surprise, is another Irene Lynn pattern. This is the Ranne vest. And this is the 4th and last Irene Lynn pattern, I promise. And this vest looks very different from the previous vest that was from her. So I feel like I'm being excused. This has cable and lace panels down the front and back, and the rest of the body is knit in moss stitch. And I really can't take my eyes off the long version. How gorgeous would this be over a pair of loose linen pants and a fitted turtleneck sweater? It's knit top down and has a wide slit on both sides. The vest comes in 7 sizes, 1 through 7, with a recommended positive ease of 10 to 23 centimeters or 4 to 9 inches. It's knit in a bulky weight yarn. I mean, I find this a bit strange because this yarn has 55 meters in a 25-gram ball, so that is more like a worsted weight, maybe even DK, but never mind. On 4, 4.5 and 5 millimeter needles, which is a US 6, 7 and 8. And you're supposed to hit a gauge of 19 stitches. That was the last vest pattern. The next category is t-shirts. A t-shirt is a staple wardrobe piece that can be both a layering piece for colder days or stand on its own when the weather warms up. Depending on whether you knit one in wool or in a plant fiber, it can accommodate you either in cold or hot weather. The first one is the Toscana t-shirt by Maria Bergman. This is another free pattern from Svarta Fåret. It comes with a skirt that I will also be talking about in this episode. And this crop tee has a cute wavy hem. The suggested yarn is 100% cotton, and with that it takes you all the way into summer. The tee is knit top down with a raglan construction, and it includes a special technique to bind off the sleeve to prevent the edges from rolling, so that feels really exciting. The waves are created using short rows. The tee comes in 8 sizes, extra small to 4XL. No ease is given, but in the pictures you can see that it has some positive ease. It's knit in an Aran weight yarn on 5mm needles, which is a US 8 for a gauge of 16 stitches. The next t-shirt is Stromboli by Caitlin Hunter. And this is an airy tee for the warmer days of spring. It has an all-over lace pattern, and it looks great with jeans, as in the designer's pictures. This tee is knit bottom up in the round, and then flat from the armholes up. The sleeves are knit in the round. It comes in 6 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 18 to 38 centimeters, which is 7 to 15 inches. It's knit in a fingering weight yarn on 2.75 and 3.25mm needles, which is a US 2 and 3 for a gauge of 22 stitches. The next one is the Campanula tee by Anna Herman Sørensen. And this tee had its moment last year, but I still find it so adorable, even though my little fashionista says that it's so 2018. I love the frilly edgings and the uneven ribbing of this design. This is a fitted tee, knit top down with a contiguous saddle shoulder, is how it's described in the pattern specs. It also has decreases at the waist. It comes in a whopping 12 sizes with a recommended negative ease of 15 to 25 centimeters. It is knit in a sport weight yarn on 2 and 2.5mm needles, which is a US 0 and 1.5. And the gauge is 30 stitches in the rib pattern. The next category that I will be talking about is skirts, and I think spring is the perfect time of year to bring out a skirt. It could be a shorter skirt knit in a wool yarn or a longer one made from plant fibers. And the first one is the Luna mini skirt by Knitters and Friends, and this is such a cute little skirt. I love the A-line shape, the big pockets, and the folded over hems. It has a clean yet fun look. This skirt is knit top down, and it has increases on the sides and short rows to raise the back. It has an elastic inserted in the waist. It comes in 9 sizes, 1 to 9. It is fitted at the waist and has a recommended positive ease of 5 to 10 centimeters or 2 to 4 inches at the hips. It's knit in a DK weight yarn. I would actually call it worsted, but that's just me. On 4 and 4.5mm needles, which is a US 6 and 7 for a gauge of 20 stitches. The next skirt is the Nova skirt by Sandnes Design. This skirt comes in 2 lengths, a mid-thigh and a full length. The information about this pattern is quite sparse, but it looks like it has been knit in a twisted rib. It is knit from the top down in the round. It comes in 9 sizes, extra small to 5XL. It has a recommended negative ease of 5 to 7 centimeters at the waist. It's knit in a fingering weight yarn on 3mm needles, which is a US 2.5. So if you pick the longer skirt, this is going to be a labor of love. And the gauge is 27 centimeters. There is a matching sweater to go with the skirt in the same pamphlet. The next pattern is the Toscana skirt by Maria Bergman, and this is to match the Toscana tee that I talked about before. It has the same waves at the hem that the t-shirt does, and this is also a free pattern. The skirt is knit top down in the round with increases at the hips, It has a slight A-line shape, which is achieved by changing the needles or the needle size. It comes in 8 sizes, XS to 4XL, and it is knit in an Aran weight yarn on 4 and 5 millimeter needles, which is a US 6 and 8. And this gives you a gauge of 18 stitches. The last category of patterns that I will be talking about today is shawls. And I really like to wear a shawl in spring, sometimes a small one with a jacket, and sometimes a really big one to wear just with a wool sweater and no jacket. The first one that I have picked is the gooseberry shawl. And for the smaller version, I picked this cute fluffy number with an all-over cable and bobble pattern. It has cute little balls at the tips, an I-cord edge that is knit at the same time as the rest of the shawl. You can use any yarn from a fingering to a worsted weight. The shawl is knit tip to tip, so you can just weigh your yarn to figure out when you reach the midpoint and should start decreasing. It comes in 3 sizes, S to L, but sizes can differ depending on what yarn you choose. The length from tip to tip is 108 to 138 centimeters, which is 42.5 to 66 inches. The width is 16 to 25 centimeters or 6.3 to 10 inches. The fingering weight version is knit on 3.5 millimeter needles, a US 4, for a 27 stitch gauge. The DK one on 4 millimeter needles or US 6 for a 23 stitch gauge. And the worsted one on 4.5 millimeter needles, US 7, for a 20 stitch gauge. And depending on your yarn, your gauge could be different, which is fine, but it will affect the size of the finished shawl, of course. The next shawl is the Freya Frost by Trine Anneli. And for a bigger shawl, I have chosen this one, which is a top-down triangular shawl. The body is knit mainly in stockinette with garter stitch rows or stripes. And the border is knit in a simple lace pattern, which is charted in the pattern. You can choose to attach a fringe at the end, or you could skip it. The shawl comes in 1 size that measures 175 centimeters or 69 inches along the top edge, and 75 centimeters or 29.5 inches down the spine. It is knit in a sport weight yarn on 4 millimeter needles or US 6 for a gauge of 20 stitches. And this is a really cute and springy piece, I think. The next one is the Mountaintop Wrap by Lisa Hannes. And this is the biggest shawl, and it's actually a wrap with an interesting diamond shape. It is knit from tip to tip in a simple knit and purl stitch pattern that is fully reversible. This wrap has a very classic, clean look that would pair well with most outfits. It comes in 1 size, but it includes instructions for adjusting the size. The length of the sample is 249 centimeters or 98 inches, and the width, oh, that's a difficult word, is 58 centimeters or 22.75 inches. It's knit in a DK weight yarn on 4.5 millimeter needles, which is a US 7, for a gauge of 20 stitches. And that was the last pattern that I had to talk about today. I really hope you feel inspired by spring and can't wait to start knitting yourself some spring pieces. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.